Donald Trump just lashed out at the Federal Reserve Chair for not cutting interest rates, saying Jerome Powell's termination cannot come fast enough. Donald Trump's taunt came as the European Central Bank cut rates, and a day after Powell warned that US tariffs could lead to higher inflation and slower growth. But no US president has ever attempted to remove a Fed chair prematurely, and such a move would fuel market instability after several rocky weeks for investors. This is what analysts are fervently arguing. Just listen in to what Donald Trump had to say.
Mr. President, on Jerome Powell, you said that the termination of Jerome Powell cannot come fast enough. He says he won't leave even if you ask him to.
Oh, he'll leave. If I ask him to, he'll be out of there. But I don't think he's doing the job. He's too late, always too late, a little slow, and I'm not happy with him. I let him know it, and if I want him out, he'll be out of there real fast, believe me.
And joining us live on the broadcast for further clarity at the moment, Peter Cardio, live from New York at the moment. Peter, thank you so much for making time for us on NDTV. Trump says Jerome Powell's termination cannot come fast enough. What kind of signal does this send to Wall Street and the world? Is this more than just rhetoric?
Well, I think, it's his rhetoric, and he always threatens people. And so I don't think he's going to fire Powell anytime soon. I don't think he can legally. And so, it's just rhetoric on his part. He's trying to get a message to the Federal Reserve that he wants rates to come down, even though inflation is still high. He says it's come down, but it's really not. And of course, with this tariff war, that just means higher inflation. So it would be a mistake for the Fed not to wait and to observe what the effects of the tariffs will be.
Right.
On the other hand, if he would terminate him, that would be a terrible signal to the markets, not only domestically, but internationally.
Right.
There would be no more credibility in terms of our foreign debt or our currency. We would have a massive run.
Right.
Interest rates would go through the roof, and the markets would crash.
In fact, Politico reports that this may be about scapegoating Powell for future economic turbulence. Do you see this as a deliberate narrative shift by the administration?
I'm having difficulty hearing you. Can you repeat that?
I'm saying, do you see this as a deliberate narrative shift by Trump's team and Trump's administration that this may be about scapegoating Jerome Powell for future economic turbulence?
No, I think, look, I think the Fed is going to take that wait and see attitude and see what happens. The Fed said, Powell has said many times, and many other Fed members, that tariff inflation is likely to be transitory. Well, I'm not too sure about that. So therefore, the Fed needs to be very careful. And it's just, a special need for everyone's interest, for the markets, for economic growth, for the Fed not to make a mistake. Making a mistake at this time, I think, would be just horrific for the markets. And again, I don't think that President Trump will act. I think he'll wait for his term to expire, and then, of course, obviously, he will appoint a new chairman. But
one thing is certain, we know that the US president is quite unpredictable, so one can never say. However, Peter, if you could take our viewers through, how do the markets typically react to such public clashes between the White House and the Fed? Are we already seeing signs of nervousness?
Yeah, I think we are, but look, I think this trade war is not going to last too long. I think Trump is going to have to backtrack, as he backtracked already on the reciprocal tariffs. Just today, Bloomberg was reporting that Trump said he was reluctant to put higher tariffs on China because that would stall any potential deal. And so I think, the markets are now beginning to realize that at one point or another, the trade war will end, and it may not end in the favor the way Mr. Trump would like it to end, but there will be some sort of agreements. And I think that holds water for China as well.
Well, Peter Cardio, thank you so much for joining us on NDTV. Let's sincerely hope that this trade war doesn't actually last too long. We will, of course, keep in touch with you for regular updates.